Good morning. Welcome. Welcome today. We have a very special day. And we have a service that you're really going to enjoy, and it shows how we all are connected and together. My name's Yvonne Fowler, and I'm one of the practitioners here. And I want to make sure you turn off your or silence your phones so that we have a nice, quiet, and peaceful service. We want to welcome any new visitors for here, and I see we got quite a few new visitors. So if you are interested, we have a packet in the back that we can share with you about our service and about our philosophy. So if you're interested in that, we'll definitely get that for you, okay? And if you'll give me the next slide. We have a vision. And the CSLB is Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont. And our vision is a world that works for everyone. And it really is a vision for most people in most religions and most philosophies also. And the next one is our purpose, awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. That's our purpose. And again, isn't that just about everybody's purpose? And then our mission, transforming lives one thought at a time. We believe that the thought becomes the thing, and so that we want to make sure that what we say is what we mean and what we are aware of what we're saying. If you don't know who's next to you, would you just turn around and say howdy to your neighbors, just so everybody gets to know everybody? It's so nice to see all of you new people here. And we also have a number of people who are on social media that we also want to invite. Okay? So how about the announcements? Fern Westrake, our longtime loving and beloved member of the community, passed away last week. And we will be having a service for her, but it'll be later on, and we'll make sure you know. She was with her family and friends, and it was a peaceful transition. So I just wanted you all to know that. And the flower ministry here, Ross has always puts together the most beautiful arrangements. I don't think they're for anybody today. So, anybody know? Huh? You'll buy them, huh? What we do is we either have someone purchase them, and that goes back into our flower ministry, or we auction them off. We actually sell tickets, and then whoever's name gets drawn gets to take them home. We have a new book study that started last week, and it's called More Than We Seem, and it's a book study by Jesse Jennings, and it's about questions and answers, and it's going to be ongoing. And last week we only got to page, I don't know, 3 or 4, I guess, because there's so much discussion. If you want to come, please let me know. It's at my house, and Reverend Neil Hayner is our facilitator. And today we have the celebration of the Seder, and that's why Gerry Phelps is here, and she is an interfaith minister that will be guiding us through the Passover service. Okay. We do have a movie night, and we have it every Tuesday, the second Tuesday of every month, and it's like a metaphysical movie. And what we do is we get together, we have spaghetti and a dinner, and then we have the movie, and we have a discussion afterwards. And I guess this time it's guess who's coming to dinner, and Reverend Michael does so good with his understanding of what the metaphysical meaning of it is. So please join us if you want. It starts at 5 o'clock, the movie's at 6, and you're home by 8. We have another special thing. We started divine dining here a short time ago, and we've had a couple of divine dinings, and this time we're going to have Melodies in the Garden, and it's going to be a different kind of a celebration. It's going to be Eve Evans, who's a jazz singer and a pianist. She's going to present her concert at my house, outside in the patio, and then we're going to have lunches. And it's going to be kind of an elegant affair. So we'd sure like you all to join us. It's $50 a tickets, and the tickets are available now. And it's going to be on, is that say 9th, right? The 9th, okay, of May. So please think about that and join us. It's going to be a lovely, lovely afternoon. And then the Science of Mind book magazine, we have a discussion group every first Thursday of the month, and that's at Emmy's house. And what we do is we talk about the different articles that are in the magazine, and we discuss them, and then we have a lunch. And so we invite everybody to come to that also. Oh, and I guess that Science of Mind is what Reverend Michael does on 2 Sundays a month, the first and the third, where we actually open up the little book. And we just open up a page and we talk about it. It's a philosophy, and it's just a real good discussion for all of us. All right. Wednesday Wellness. Wednesday is our midweek pickup. And on the first of the month, on Wednesdays at 5:45, anybody that wants to can get on Zoom. And all we do is we do a check-in and see how people are. And if there's anything else that they want to discuss or whatever, we do that. So Bobby, you can come too. The Good Grief support group has been with us since Michael got here. And it was on Thursdays. Well, now it's been moved to Tuesdays. So if anybody has anything on their mind or just wants to be with a group of like-minded people and get some support, please come at 1 to 2:30 on Tuesdays here in the sanctuary. And it's just a very sacred time. CSLB answering service. We need volunteers. So if you're interested in just answering the phone for us or being involved, somehow we need that. So I can't read the slide. So just know that if you want to be involved with us and help us with the phone, that we need that help. And we do have a special practitioner session with Adrian Madden. That's one of our practitioners. So if anybody needs an extra pair or just wants to talk about it, we have a time for you. Just call Adrian and set it up. It's like an hour session, and we can help each other understand what's going on in our life and maybe find some answers.
So what day is that? What day is that I can come?
For Adrian?
No, that day that you said, Bobby, you can come. That's the 1 to 2:30. What day is that? Tuesday. What day was that?
No, I think it was the Wednesday. It was a Zoom meeting.
It's on Zoom. Bobby, we'll
Tuesday. Oh, Tuesday.
yeah.
Wednesday. It was a Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it afterwards. Okay.
What day is it? I need to know the date.
Okay. All right. I think we still have the prayer in the Om room, which is right behind us, and that's again right after service. If anybody needs a 2-minute miracle, you're welcome to come in the room, and Adrian will be there to help discuss whatever we need. Okay. And remember, we're having a great big celebration after the service today. And Gerry wanted me to say to the group that we'd like to take up the collection for our giving now before she begins her presentation. So are you available? It's a little different than we do it.
But I'm a little different minister.
Yeah, and this is what we say, it's on the board. This is for our service, our building fund, whatever we need the monies for church. It all goes to the church. It's called, okay, ready? We say it together. I give and receive freely and generously with an open heart and an open mind. The universe responds to me in kind. I know that my beloved community is richly blessed, and so it is. You can also go to csl.org, cslbeaumont.org, and text GIVE to 951-420-6909, or we do have an account that you can come to the office and give that monies to.
Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for
Thank you, God, for
everything.
everything. Thank you, God.
Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for everything.
Thank you, Gerry, for reminding me to do that now.
Thank you, God, for everything.
If you just come together for a minute now, I'd like to just introduce Gerry. She's been here before, and with the Jewish traditions, we have learned much from her. And we're going to have a beautiful ceremony today. And she is an interfaith minister, and we'll be explaining more about what goes on today. Thank you, Gerry.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. Hello again. Good morning, and thank you for having me back here. The last time was very special, and I'm pleased and honored to have been invited to stand in today for Reverend Michael. Those are big shoes to fill. To those of you who are here in the congregation, those of you who are online, and those of you visiting the center for the first time, you are all very, very welcome to be here, as welcome as I feel being up here. My name, as you know, is Gerry Cousins Phelps. I am an interfaith minister, but I was a rabbi's daughter, and so my upbringing was actually strictly kosher, which is why they bring me back to discuss matters of the Jewish faith. And today we'll be discussing the message of Passover, and I'm also delighted to be conducting the Seder, which we hope that you'll stay for. It's a celebratory meal, and it will follow the service, which was the reason I asked that the donations be moved up front so that we could go from this room right into the other room, and that starts with blessings and a little play that I've devised so that you can all learn what a Seder is like in a traditional Jewish home. And I didn't want to have the interruption, so this way we've taken care of business. That doesn't mean you can't give again later. Again, Yvonne, thank you very much. And so now I'm going to begin. There is music. Some of it I understand we will be playing here in the room only, and unfortunately those watching online will not hear it because we do not have copyright clearance. Every religion has its master story, some core event that captures the spirit and thrust of its faith. As we grow up, many of us become defined by what we learn as children. Today is Palm Sunday. It marks Jesus' entry into Jerusalem in order to celebrate the Passover with his disciples. And so begins Passion Week for Christians all over the world, culminating next Sunday on Easter Sunday. For those of you who question whether or not Jesus was Jewish, I'd like to quote from a not too PC Robin Williams monologue. Of course he was Jewish. He was in his 30s, single, living at home with his parents, working in his father's business, and his mother thought he was God's gift. Get with it. I said it wasn't PC. It is written in the Quran that Muslims recognize and religiously honor the story of Passover, which commemorates God saving Moses, referred to as a prophet, and the Israelites, or the children of Abraham, from the Pharaoh by their voluntary fasting on the day of Ashura. So, Passover, the master story about which we'll be talking, is the Exodus, the liberation of the Hebrews from slavery in Egypt, and the journey toward freedom that takes us to the Ten Commandments, the revelation at Mount Sinai, and finally to the Promised Land. It is the bedrock of Judaism and is retold in the home, not in the church or the synagogue or wherever you pray. It is told in the home, generation after generation, so that it may be re-experienced, to retrieve the past and bring it into the present. That every person must regard himself as though he had come forth from Egypt as a slave. In the telling, we go back over 3 millennia ago, mind and heart of the slave. And so we're going to begin now. I hope everybody has song sheets with a spiritual, which was known as Go Down Moses. Other people know it as Let My People Go. It's sung in this version by Louis Armstrong. Please enjoy. Okay, guys, it's up to you. And may you rest in peace, you sweet, sweet man. We've all seen and enthusiastically heard the documentaries on the Discovery Channel and PBS Nova that picture the great pyramids of Egypt, and particularly the extraordinary temples of Karnak and Abu Simbel, built by Ramses, believed to be the pharaoh at the time of the Exodus. But whose hands and bodies physically built those temples? Most likely it was your ancestors and mine. I ask you now to go back in time and meet Ramses. Can you see yourself saying, "Oh, Ramses, I'm a visitor from 3,300 years in the future, and I have some good news for you and some bad news." And curiously, he might say, "Okay, what's the good news?" Well, mighty Ramses, there is one civilization existing at this moment that will still be alive and strong 33 centuries from now. What's the bad news? The bad news is that it's not going to be yours. "Who then?" he shouts. And you say to him, "You see those many slaves laboring in the distance? They look like ants. The people you call Hebrews, their descendants are going to be alive and well, still strong 33 centuries from now." Ramses II was one of the greatest leaders of probably the longest-lived and most powerful nations of the ancient world. And as for the Jews, or the Hebrews, they were the most powerless of all slaves. No freedom, no liberty, no rights, no unions, no dignity. What's more, we even know what the Egyptians thought of them because the oldest reference to the Jews outside of the Bible is on a tablet of stone engraved by Ramses' successor, his son. This is not the one that died, he wasn't the firstborn, Pharaoh Merneptah, which contains the words, "Israel is laid waste, her seed is no more." The ancient Egyptians thought the Israelites were finished, kaput, dead in the desert. So, how was it that these pitiable people were able to survive while the mighty empire of Ramses began a decline and very soon disappeared from the pages of history? Ancient Egypt and ancient Israel were two civilizations that ask the deepest question any of us can ask. How, in this finite, ephemeral, all too short span of years that we call a life, can we achieve immortality? The Egyptians gave one answer. You achieve immortality by building buildings, monuments of stone that outlive the sands and winds of time. And as you know, in a sense, they were right. The buildings are still there. That's what we watch on Discovery and Nova. But the civilization that brought them forth, the values for which they live, disappeared long ago. Ancient Israel said, no. To become immortal, you do not need to build monuments of stone. All you need to do is engrave your values on the hearts of your children, and they on theirs, and so on across the centuries. Jews built living monuments. And how did they do it? By the process of handing their story on to the next generation. That is what we do on Passover. We give the next generation the gift of the Jewish story. And that slender ritual turned out to be longer lasting than the mightiest empires and the greatest monuments. This Seder that we will begin shortly should make us realize that we too, us, all of us here, are part of this story of people seeking freedom. And now we will do L'Ador Vador, which means from generation to generation, the way we pass on the Passover story.
Looking back on the journey that we carry in our hearts, from the shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part. We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of your way, and the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. L'Ador Vador, Nagid Gormecha. Is your name.
You do have this in your songbooks.
L'Ador Vador, Nagid Gormecha. L'Ador Vador, we protect this chain. From generation to generation, L'Ador Vador, these lips will praise your name.
I feel the same way. To those who came before us, we light a memorial candle to honor, respect, and symbolize their enduring spirit. In the Jewish tradition, they would call this the Kaddish. Let's see if I can do this. Ah. And may you be lit, at least for today, never mind the generations. At this time, we remember our parents and grandparents, any deceased siblings, a spouse who may have passed, and God forbid, any of our children who have gone before us, as well as our dear friends. Let us all recall the 8 million Holocaust victims, including Jews, Catholics, Gypsies, homosexuals, etc., as well as those who now lay dying or dead in the Ukraine, Israel, and Gaza, Iran, Lebanon, and wherever else wars are being fought, and anyone else who is dear to you that I may have omitted. We are all one human family. May they who connect us through love and generations past Rest in peace. The philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau believed that Moses was the greatest man who ever lived. Why? Because he was able to turn a group of runaway slaves into a nation. And not just any nation, but a nation with the most tenacious identity of any nation in history. Because it kept that identity despite the fact that it lost its land, its power, and its home. Rousseau further believed that this was the most extraordinary achievement. What he didn't fully understand was how it was achieved. A key part of the answer to that question lies in the Seder service, which we will enjoy in Carter Hall, and the Haggadah. That's the booklets that we will all be receiving. The way the story is handed down to the next generation as the next generation asks its questions. Who am I? Manish Nata, Halayla Hazer Mikol Halilot. Why is this night different from all other nights? The story of that first Passover is remarkable because if you look at the book of Exodus, you'll see that when Moses gathers the people together, he doesn't talk about any of the obvious subjects, freedom, or the land filled with milk and honey, or the awful challenges of the journey that lie ahead in the desert. Instead, 3 times he talks about the duty of telling the story to your children. And when in time to come, your child asks you, Exodus chapter 13, verse 14, Exodus chapter 12, verses 26 and 27, Exodus chapter 13, verse 8. 3 times he talks about telling the story to our children throughout the generations. Why so? Because Moses understood that freedom is not won in a single moment. It needs to be fought for in every generation. That means handing on to our children 3 very important gifts. The gift of identity, who am I? The gift of values, how shall I live? The sense of continuity, that they are a part of the story, which includes us as our story includes them. Education as the conversation between the generations. Once you do that, your identity becomes extraordinary and indelible. What Passover tells us is that values can be and should be universal. Freedom, justice, human dignity for all. But identity is always particular and comes with a story. Because we never stop telling the story of Passover, Jews never ever lost their identity in all these many centuries and all the many dispersions. And now I understand we're going to be doing Don't Stop, We're Leaving, which is a parody sung by Y Studs a cappella. It's a parody based on Don't Stop Believin' by Gerry. I believe that this one will not go out on the internet. Yes? Oh, this one will go out. Okay, this is fun. I suggest you follow it along with your music sheets because it tells the whole story of Passover, some of which we'll be discussing here today in this room, and some of which we'll be discussing out in the Seder in Carter Hall. So if you don't mind, gentlemen, take it away.
Da, 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 da. Egyptian girl growing up in Pharaoh's world. She found the baby boy just floating there. All the Hebrew boys Pharaoh wanted to destroy. They built the city seen from anywhere. After a little magic show, Moses asked to let them go. Plagues are coming, but Pharaoh's heart hardens on and on and on and on. Blood, frogs, and lice, animals and pestilence, boils, hail of fire and ice, wonders, symbols, locusts causing great commotion, darkness, firstborn slain in the night. The story we remember well, on Seder night we will retell. Dip some parsley and refill our glass just one more time. Manishtana Dayenu, celebrate with all the Jews. Well, the Seder never ends, it goes on and on and on and on. Red Sea splitting, following an outstretched arm, traveling undercover night. Baking matzah, journeying with mixed emotion. Grab the dough before it can rise. Don't stop, we're leaving. From Pharaoh's wicked hand we are fleeing. Hebrew people. Don't stop, we're leaving. Oh no, don't run, people. Don't stop, we're leaving. Face off, people. Don't stop.
When I found that for today, I thought, this is going to be a fun one. Parodies aside, a very gifted contemporary composer and dramatist, Lin-Manuel Miranda, wrote a musical, and I know you've all heard of it, Hamilton. He ends the musical with 3 questions. Who remembers our name? Who remembers our flame? Who tells our story? Because of Passover, we will always remember our name. We will always keep the flame, and we will always tell the story. And we will give thanks. Now, there's a very short song, Dayenu, which you also have in your songbooks. There will be a word that we've just used and a word that will be in the song, Torah. For those of you who do not know what the Torah is, it is the Old Testament. It consists specifically of the 5 books of the Bible, Genesis through Deuteronomy. And so, Dayenu. And please, it repeats itself. Do sing it. Have a good time.
Dayenu,
Dayenu, Dayenu. Thank you. It is actually a song of thanks because God could have performed one miracle and each miracle would have been sufficient, but God performed many miracles and every one counted more than the first. When I was a child, Bonnie and I, my cousin, actually we were more like sisters. Anyway, we used to spend our afternoons playing together under the watchful eyes of our grandmother, whom I called my Bubby. Since my grandfather was a rabbi and he was paid in IOUs and chickens, Bubby was the breadwinner in the family. It seemed she was either at her dry goods store across the street or in their apartments upstairs, getting everything ready for the Sabbath or some Jewish holiday. I certainly remember Passover, however, because her store was closed for 2 weeks, except by appointment, and the chametz. I'll tell you that word in a moment. Passover, or Pesach, meant spring cleaning, and clean her house she did, from top to bottom, even putting hot coals in her pots and pans, then super scouring them, making them kosher for the holiday. Carrying on with her usual custom, she'd scrub the kitchen floor meticulously, every single corner. It was linoleum, difficult. And then she'd cover it with newspaper to keep it clean so that it wouldn't get any of the crumbs of what she was about to do. Then she'd empty the pantry and refrigerator of any chametz. And I will now tell you what that word means. Chametz is any food product made from wheat, barley, rye, or oats that has come into contact with liquid and been allowed to ferment with yeast or leavening and rise for more than 18 minutes. Bread, cake, cereal, cookies, even noodles. She'd place all the chametz in a carton to donate to St. Mary's Church a couple of blocks away and stop what she was doing. And then the three of us, my Bubby, my cousin, and I, would walk over to the church where we'd leave the food. On returning, Bubby would again roll up her sleeves and vigorously wipe down the entire refrigerator, then turn her sights on the empty pantry shelves. This was my favorite part. With the flame of a lit candle for light and a white feather, she'd delve into each and every corner, and she'd sweep away whatever crumbs or particles remained. Then she'd burn them. My cousin and I, 2 little girls with 4 huge brown eyes, we weren't even in kindergarten yet, would watch her, fascinated. What was she doing? Why, Bubby? And she answered, because Pesach, or Passover, meant starting anew. And since chametz represented slavery, and we were about to celebrate freedom from slavery, everything that happened before that celebration had to be purged, done away with, gotten rid of in the house, in order that we might celebrate our journey from bondage in Egypt to freedom. Today, when I think back on this memory, this zapping of the chametz, I wonder about inner or metaphysical freedom, that perhaps we are all on a quest to seek out and destroy any dark, negative thoughts or crumbs that keep us back from being our best. But I don't know that any of us are totally free of doubt or fear, jealousy and resentment, pessimism. Therefore, let us each practice the ritual of periodically lighting up the corners of our minds and with an allegorical feather, deliberately, not only for Passover, but all the time, sweep away any negativity, that we may all be our own redeemers. Passover celebrates not just the physical redemption of the Israelites, but the spiritual as well, commemorating a historic, crucial, and vital event in our history. It is a time for celebration, a time to gather with friends and to welcome the stranger, to eat and drink, to talk, to ask questions, to laugh, and to remember that we can leap into the unknown, to stop dilly-dallying and take a forward stance, certain that we must take risks and be willing. It is also a reminder never to forget all the miracles in our lives. As we come to this season, those of us who enjoy Judeo-Christian backgrounds recognize the themes of darkness, light, death and resurrection, despair and hope, fear and faith, and grief and joy, which have all been set before us. Now, I have scheduled to sing We Are the World as our next song. I don't know if we're going to be doing it. It was produced by USA for Africa and sung by a host of celebrity artists. You have the words if we're able to play it. Are we playing it? We are, but it's not going out on the internet. So you know the song, you know the celebrities, everybody was there. It was produced by Quincy Jones, Dionne Warwick, Bob Dylan. Oh my God, you name it, Stevie Wonder, I almost said little Stevie Wonder. They're all there, everybody's there. So join in, be part of the celebrities, clap your hands, tap your feet, and just enjoy the energy. We are the world. to Judy, to Marcia, to Chuck, to Emmy, God bless Emmy, and all her angels in the kitchen, and I don't single out any single one of you, to Yvonne, to Esther, to all the people that made me feel so welcome. I'll be here, I hope, next week for Easter Sunday as well. May we be blessed that we are ever open to joy, light, truth, and love. Thank you for allowing me the privilege of conducting today's interfaith Passover service. Reverend Michael should be back next week. The CSL vision is a world that works for everyone. Heading into our Seder meal, let us first join together, everybody on the floor in a circle, as we sing, "Let There Be Peace on Earth." Thank you.
There will be a short prayer in the Om room right after service. Please join me in the room right around the corner. Let us sing out. All right, don't forget, we got a whole nother part of this going on in the other room. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you soon.
In my eyes, in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, in my life,